What's up, everyone? I'm Nicole Baldwin, host of Thrive Talk. Thrive Talk is a division of I Thrive Network, a digital well-being community connecting women who serve. Now, today I am going to share with you guys a cool breathing technique that can help you deal with anything from anxiety, depression, and just, day-to-day life stressors. But before we get started, I need you guys to review this disclaimer. All right, so now that you guys understand that I am not a doctor nor a mental health provider, however, I am sharing with you all my life experiences dealing with anxiety and PTSD and some techniques that have helped me along the way, and hopefully I hope these techniques can also help you. So I want to talk a little bit before we go into the breathing techniques, a little bit about PTSD, stress, and then we'll, jump right into the breathing techniques. If you guys want to fast forward, you can fast forward to this mark right here. And for those of you who want to watch, let's get started. Okay, so several years ago, I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. This was my first time ever being diagnosed with a mental illness. And it was my first time being treated by mental health providers, and also my first time being prescribed mental health medication. They call it, antipsychotic or antidepressant medications. And so during this process and during this phase in my life, I experienced some adverse reactions from this medication. And I experienced more of the side effects than actually the benefits of the medication. And we'll go deeper into that. But for those of you who want to know, what is PTSD? So PTSD, it stands for post-traumatic stress disorder. And PTSD is basically an anxiety disorder that can be developed after experiencing a traumatic or fearful event. So basically anyone can develop PTSD. Some of the traumatic or fearful events that could cause PTSD is anything from going to war, being arrested, in today's time being pulled over by police officers, grief, losing a loved one, seeing someone die, seeing someone, get killed, being raped, being abused or molested as a child, a natural disaster like the pandemic and COVID-19, and just general loss, even, being in a domestic violence relationship with with your spouse or with your, your partner. All of those can spark PTSD. However, PTSD, everyone is affected differently. So of course, everyone would develop PTSD differently. Not everyone is going to go through those traumatic and fearful events that I just mentioned and develop PTSD. Some people will develop it and some people will not develop PTSD. So some people always ask, like, how does the mind function and how does the mind work? So basically the human function is designed, to naturally react when you are ignited with fear or with trauma. So for instance, someone came out of the room right now and it was like, boo, you would just jump, right? I don't know if you guys just jump right then and there. However, so the fear, it triggers what's called like a split second physical and mental reaction to either defend or avoid that trauma or that fearful moment. However, with PTSD, there's an occurrence that keeps going. They call it prolonged exposure. So it's kind of like somebody saying boo, you jump, you get startled, but then you kind of relax and you go back to your normal day-to-day interactions. However, with PTSD and prolonged exposure, it's like someone saying boo, 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 and you just being startled every single time. So the mind usually goes into what's called a fight or flight response. And with PTSD, it's like your mind is constantly in the fight or flight response. So it's like you're just being, startled all throughout the day. And some of those symptoms can include re-experiencing, where you feel like you re-experience what happened to you, the whole entire event. And then you can also have avoidance, where you try to avoid anything that will remind you or take you back to that place or that event. And then you also have hypervigilance. It's kind of like when you're kind of like looking over your shoulder, or looking around, or you're always constantly on the lookout because your mind is still kind of adapted to that fight or flight response. And so when you think about the data that goes with PTSD, 2.2% of Americans are diagnosed with PTSD every single year. That's roughly around 7.7 million people. And then when you look at the military community, those who served in Iraq and Afghanistan, roughly about 11% suffer from PTSD. That's roughly about 300,000 people in the servicemen and women category. And then when you look at PTSD, it kind of discriminates a little bit, because 10% of women will get it in their lifetime, while just 5% of men will get it in their lifetime. And so some of the things with PTSD, you have 3 different levels, or 3 different ways you can develop PTSD as well. You have acute, that can happen for just up to 3 months, where you just have, mild PTSD. And then you also have chronic, where it lasts over 3 months. And then you also have what is called delayed onset. Now, some people can go through all the traumas and all the fears that I mentioned earlier, but they will not start exhibiting signs of the PTSD to 6 months to 12 months later. And it could be based on just re-experiencing the entire trauma again. So PTSD it's really, really tricky. And so with me, when I was diagnosed with PTSD, of course, I told you in the beginning, it was very new to me. It was my first time being diagnosed with a mental illness, my first time happening to see a mental health provider, and my first time happening to take medications to control, my mood and things like that. However, with me and my medications, I had an intolerance to the drugs that I was taking. My body, instead of getting better, instead of mentally getting better, it had more of the adverse reactions from the medication than the features, and the benefits of the medication. And one day this caused me into a situation that got me into a very big legal situation because of this. And from that situation, it forced me not to really trust mental health providers anymore. It forced me not to take any type of medication anymore for my PTSD. And it also forced me to really develop phobias like agoraphobia, especially, after I was in the presence of law enforcement and things like that. So for me, I really didn't like the way I felt with my PTSD. I didn't like being depressed. I didn't like having anxiety. I didn't like being stressed out. I didn't like being fearful. I didn't like those things, and I did not like the medication. And so I had to try to research and really understand PTSD to really get a better understanding of my diagnosis and things that I could do holistically to help me. And so there were a couple of things that I did, and next week I will do a prayer meditation that I developed to help me with a lot of my healing and recovery and with my PTSD. But breathing was one that was very, very, very effective for me. And so I know that the breathing techniques, I know that they work, and because they really help with calming my mood and just calming me down. But I also know that they've been effective. Every time I go to the doctor, I am always asked, is it normal for your blood pressure to be low? Is your blood pressure always low? And I'm like, yes, it is, because I always practice these breathing techniques when I know that I have to go to a doctor, or I have to be in any situation where I may be forced to re-experience a traumatic or fearful event that I don't want to re-experience again. Now, let's get to what stress is. Let's talk about stress. Americans are the most stressed out human beings in the world, guys. The most stressed out, And so a lot of times you hear people say that stress is killing you, stress is killing us. And I don't think anybody realizes how stress kills you, right? So, stress is the cause of depression, it's the cause of dementia, it's the cause of impaired functions of the brain. It's the cause of negative personal relationships. It's the cause of high blood pressure, fatigue, insomnia. It's the cause of obesity, low productivity, heart diseases, diabetes, and so much more. I mean, stress is crazy. I remember when I was feeling so stressed out, when I first got started. And mind you, I have a skincare line, BAO Skincare. However, I had gotten so stressed out where my skin, it began to break out. My hair began to get thin. I mean, stress can do a number on you if you're not careful. That is why, for me, having post-traumatic stress disorder, it was extremely important for me to take the precautions and to do everything in my power to create a safe place in my home, in my environment, in my relationships, to ensure that I could always be my best self and I could be as stressless as possible. Now, the next thing that we're going to get into is to the breathing technique. Now, you guys are going to love this. But before we get started, I'm going to give you guys a couple of some time to find a really quiet, comfortable, and relaxing area in your home. All right, did you guys find a comfortable place to do these exercises? Now, these breathing exercises that I'm going to share with you are really dear to me. They're really unique. They are used by trained Navy SEALs, special operations in the military. Now, as you guys all know, to be a Navy SEAL, special operations, those are really stressful and highly impactful jobs. And so these Navy SEALs and special operations, they use a couple of different techniques that help them to find balance and harmony by the use of what we would call breath work, so that they're able to be calm and collected and being able to carry out the mission in the right state of mind. Because one thing you don't want to be in war and battle and you're all stressed out and you can't function. I mean, how you gonna fight the enemy if you're all stressed out? And so these the breathing technique that I'm gonna share with you all today is simply a box breathing technique. So the breathing exercise that we're going to do today is a diaphragmatic breathing technique, right? It's called box breathing. And so there is a lot of research out there that shows a strong correlation between the way that we breathe and the way that we think and feel. And so a lot of research has also shown that breathing exercises can create a balance between oxygen and carbon dioxide in the blood, which triggers internal mechanisms that promote relaxation. And if you guys want to know what I'm looking up, I'm also looking at my notes in case I forget to tell you guys something. And so the benefits of box breathing are reduces stress, it improves the mood, and it also balances the emotions, right? Because you don't want to be all stressed out and all over the place. Nobody wants to be around an unstable, especially an emotionally unstable human being. And so box breathing, it's really unique because it helps to train your breath for optimal health and performance. It combines breathing with concentration and mindfulness. And anyone that's in, the mental health care field, or that, has had any type of mental health care, knows the power and the impact of mindfulness. All right, so now we're going to get started on these breathing exercises. I really hope you guys enjoy them, and I hope that they're as beneficial for you as they are for me. You guys ready to get started? All right, let's get started. All righty, so hopefully everyone has found them a little cozy, quiet, and relaxing place in the house. So before I get started with any of my breathing exercises, I always use some type of essential oil to just get my mood right, to set the tone. And you can always carry your bottle of essential oil in your purse, your bag, whatever you guys call it. If you're in a car, at the doctor's office, taking that exam at school, dealing with that stressful coworker, or running that $1 million business. And so one of those is Nature's Truth is an essential oil I use, and this one is called Stress Ease Pure, and it's a calming one. So I basically just just inhale it and I exhale. And I mean, you guys, it's so relaxing. Wow, that feels so amazing. And so after I do that, the next thing is to start the breathing technique. Now, I want you guys to imagine breathing around a box. Now, this is just a simple square box, even sides. I'm going to draw the box for you on the screen. That's the box. That's how simple and easy it is. And so with the breathing exercises, I need you guys to imagine yourself going up the box as you inhale and forward. We're going to do it in sets of 4. And then when you get up the box, you want to go to the right. And as you go into the right, you want to hold your breath for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. And as you're coming down the box, I want you to exhale for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now as you go to the left to the box so you can go back up, I need you to pause for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. You got it? Okay. So let's practice. Ready? I want you to inhale up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now pause. 1, 2, 3, 4. How you guys feel? Let's try another one. Inhale up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. 1, 2, 3, 4. You got it? All right, let's try it one more time. Inhale up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. 1, 2, 3, 4. How you feel? I hope you feel amazing. Now I'm gonna just demonstrate one for you guys. So this is me doing mine. So I'm just closing my eyes. I'm picturing my box. Now it's time for me to inhale. Alrighty, so that is a quick breathing technique, courtesy of our great Special Operations and Navy SEALs. I really hope that this breathing technique really helps you guys. Remember, just to be easy on yourself. Let it go, don't harbor bad thoughts, bad thinking, bad voices, and just learn how to breathe and controlling your breathing, because the more you are able to control your breathing, the more you can get yourself into a relaxation state. And as you go into that relaxation state, it helps you stay calm and collected with the most stressful and challenging events in your life. Now, next week, we'll be doing some what I like to call prayerful meditations. These are some meditations that I developed that has helped me significantly on my journey of recovery and healing post-trauma. And no matter what your religious faith or whatever is, these are some really good, this is a really good exercise that you guys should really tune into to learn more about and to hopefully implement it into your own interfaith or your own lifestyle. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Please, please, please make sure that you guys subscribe to our channel. Make sure that you guys follow us on Facebook at I Thrive Network. Follow us on Twitter at I Thrive Veteran. And be on the lookout for our new website that is launching soon at www.ithrivenetwork.org. We have some amazing things that are coming forth out of this. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in. And again, I really hope that these exercises really help you all. I look forward to chatting with y'all next week. And this is Thrive Talk. I'm Nicole Baldwin. Talk to you later. Love you all.